Well, we've been speaking a lot about spiritually accompanying the other people and being able to mentor. But you're probably wondering what happens if I've never had a mentor. I have had the privilege in my life to be accompanied at different stages of my life by different people. People who, as I mentioned earlier, were to me like Barnabas, or were to me like Paul was to Timothy. People who believed in me and who believed in my potential and who gave me opportunities. The truth is that I could say that even today, what I'm doing is repeating that mental reference of those people who invested in my life. Naturally, with the passage of time, I've already made my own personal style. I've added my own flavor, my own characteristics. But in essence, I'm doing the same thing they did with me when they accompanied me spiritually. It's possible that you may ask yourself, well, but how am I going to accompany others spiritually if no one accompanied me spiritually? Well, there are two possibilities I would like to offer you, or at least ask you to consider. First is that you look for a mentor. That you look for someone in your environment who can accompany you spiritually, and that you take the initiative to approach that person and ask them to do a process of accompaniment, whether formal or informal, but that this person can really be part of your life and accompany you. If you're going to make this choice, that is, ask someone to really be your mentor and accompany you spiritually, I would ask you to look for people who are consistent in their walk with the Lord. Again, don't look for perfection, but look for people who are consistent, who you see as coherent, who you really see as having authority, who you see can really bring value to your life. The second thing I would ask you to look for in a mentor is a person full of grace, a person who can give you unconditional love and acceptance, who can understand you and accept you in your reality. If that person is not full of grace, forget it. He is not going to be a good mentor. You don't need people to judge you. You need people to love you and help you grow. The third characteristic that I would say is that you observe people around you who are really developing other people, and this can help you to find a mentor who can accompany you spiritually so that you can reproduce the process in others. But there's a second option I'd like you to consider, and that's what we call peer mentoring. For example, at my age, it's already difficult to find a mentor. It is difficult to find someone who can be a role model because I've lived so many years, and all those who were my mentors have been passing away, unfortunately. But there is something called peer mentoring. That is, people who are at the same spiritual level. People who, if you allow me the illustration, can walk at the same pace. We can walk at the same speed, and we can help each other by sharing burdens, sharing vulnerability, sharing needs, and sharing challenges. Again, peer mentoring can be an opportunity for you to have someone who can accompany you spiritually in your process. In this way, you can reproduce it in others. Just as if you were looking for an individual mentor, I would tell you to look for someone who is full of grace and consistent. If you want to establish peer mentoring, either on an individual level or with a small group, make sure that these characteristics are also present. People who are vulnerable, people who are full of grace, and who are consistent and can strengthen each other and can mutually help each other. Not to have to walk alone, to be able to be role models for so many young people around us who are in need of those role models.